Hey there. So, some friends of mine, given the current state of the world, have asked me to begin a quick cocktailing channel. I'm going to do this all in one take. I'm not doing any post-production or editing, but I've done a little bit of prep work. So today, I'm going to start us off with kind of, in some ways, one of the most classic of cocktails, which is just a basic martini. Okay, so martinis are made with gin. Anybody tells you otherwise is wrong. And with gins, you're gonna start with, there's basically two kinds of gin, although people will argue with me on this. And this is the standard caveat. This is all just my opinion. I'm not a professional cocktailer. I take this kind of seriously, but I'm not like classically trained in any of this. Most of this I've just picked up from reading and talking with other folks over the years. So generally speaking, I think of there being as basically two major kinds of gin, right? There's floral gins that are highly botanical, and then there's drier gins. So you think of your like classic British gins as being less botanical and a little drier, okay? Now, there's a lot of flavoring and variation between and among those. So I've got two, both from Berkshire Mountain Distillers. I've got the Greylock Gin, which is a little on the drier side, and I've got the Ethereal Gin, which is also by Berkshire Mountain Distillers, which is a little more floral. The floral I would tend to use more for like a gin and tonic, something that's got a little bit of lightness to it. Gin, generally speaking, is a little bit of a lighter drink. You're not going to get that kind of like wintry heaviness that you get with like a rye or a bourbon or a cognac or something like that. But generally speaking, for a standard, what's a cocktail I'm making? I haven't even started drinking yet. For a standard martini, you're gonna want a drier gin. Okay, so I'm gonna start with the Greylock Gin. I'm gonna mix in this graduated cylinder I got from Catamount Glass in. I need to get the. I guess I'm cracking this one open. I didn't realize I hadn't opened this guy yet. Sabered that fucker open. Okay, so generally speaking, when we think about our cocktails, there's sort of basically kind of sort of two formulas, right? There's either equal parts 1-1-1-1, or sometimes just 1-1-1. Or it's sort of 2-1 and some change, basically, right? So you've got your base liquor, which almost is always going to be your most dominant. So for this one, we're going to do 2 ounces of our gin. Okay, now if you don't have something like this, or you don't have to do it in this. Just throw a couple shots into your shaker. Okay, so we start there. Now for a classic martini, we're gonna then do 1 part of dry vermouth. I'm using this Mancino. This is kind of a little bit fancier. You do actually get quite a different drink with a different vermouth. I like this one because it's a little on the sweeter side, and it's just a delicious fortified wine. You could just sort of tip on it, but it's a great little wine, and I really like it. But you know, if what you've got available to you is Dolan or you know, even any other kind of fortified white wine, Lillet will work, and that brings out a really lovely nose on this. So you don't have to get too fancy. I happen to have this one because I take this a little too seriously, but any dry vermouth will do. Sorry, dog feeder going off. Okay, So that's your basics. That's where you get started, okay? And this is now a martini, okay? 2 parts gin, 1 part vermouth. Don't skimp on the vermouth. Don't do a swish and a rinse. That's not a martini. That's just gin, which is lovely. But I don't think of that as actually a martini. It's 2 parts gin, 1 part vermouth. So then you can start to play, right? So beyond those sort of basics, then the other things that we sometimes will find is a little smidgen of something citrusy. Now, generally, I would never do this, but I can't, in the current environment, I can't actually get fresh lemons. They were sold out, so lemon juice it is. So just a tiny little bit. Now here's the stick on lemons. Lemon is incredibly unforgiving, so you can really go over with the lemon. Lime less so, much less unforgiving. So just, I put in a couple dashes of lemon just to kind of give it a little bit of a citrusy nose to it, which I really like. And then, ooh, I'm gonna have to climb. My bar is way up there. And now I'm just going to give a little something to sweeten it up. So generally with this, you would either, in this family, right? And we're deviating a little bit from a classic actual martini because we're playing. So I'm going to use just about 1/4 of an ounce of the Luxardo Maraschino liqueur. I'm just going to sweeten this up just a titty bit. And then we're gonna finish it off with some bitters. I'm just gonna use basic Angostura bitters. I like to bitter mine pretty well, so I put in about 2 dashes of bitters there. Okay, so now with anything that has citrus in it or that has egg in it, you're gonna wanna shake it. If it is just liquor and liqueurs, then you want to stir it, okay? You just want to make sure that the citrus gets nice and solidly emulsified into it. So, forgot to get ice. Let me run to the freezer and grab some ice. Okay. And now that I've got it all taken care of, I'm gonna get it into my shaker. And I'm gonna So now that I've gotten it good and shaken, I'm going to grab myself, I'm gonna drink mine in a coupe. Okay, I don't have it chilled, but it's better if you do chill it. Okay. And then from here, I would normally finish it off with a lemon twist, but because I can't get fresh lemon in this moment, I'm going to finish it off with a cherry, which is fine because we've got the maraschino, and I think that kind of rolls in there. So a basic, dry derivative of a martini works out pretty good for me. All right, back soon with more. We'll do gin and tonics next time, assuming it doesn't snow. They're saying 6 inches of snow tomorrow, so maybe we'll be back to rye whiskey or something like that soon enough. Okay,